Thanks for joining. Honestly, I feel like I haven't done a live for ages, and I haven't been doing much tarot for a while either because I've been focusing a lot on my other work, but yeah, I'm going to try and get on here a bit more often to do some of these readings. So yeah, obviously we're going into Virgo season today, and it feels like a really pivotal time, almost like the start of this kind of descent inwards that we travel along through the rest of the calendar year. And the new moon coming up at the weekend is kind of like a significant marking point for that, and us setting intentions for the months ahead. So I thought I would try and offer some clarity today for this season, because I feel like there's a lot coming up during this Virgo season in terms of change and shifts. So yeah, hopefully this will give us a clue of what to look out for. Let's see. Okay, first I'm going to take one of these oracle cards. Apart from dropping them on the floor. Yeah, so my oracles that I'm getting are peace and harmony and balance, which obviously kind of go hand in hand. And this is really kind of the energy of this time. It's like going into ourselves a bit more and finding out what it is that we need to cultivate that sense of peace in our lives. What do we need to remove or add to bring back that balance and create that sense of harmony? So there's a lot of inner reflection, and I think organisation, which is a very Virgo trait, and this is a part of it, it's us organising our lives to suit the energy that we want around us, the energy that we don't want around us, and figuring all of that out. So yeah, it's really about getting clear on that. What makes you feel at peace, and how can you bring more of that into your life? Yeah, I said I feel like there's a lot of change happening during this time, and I've just pulled the Tower, which obviously signifies quite intense changes that potentially may be happening, and often this can be like things that we're not necessarily expecting, or things that we were not deciding to change, but that the universe is shifting and moving for us. And I think that whole notion of finding our inner peace is really important based on that, because if things are changing and shifting around us, we need to still be able to be at peace in ourselves and not get lost in the external stressors and worrying about what's going to happen or how we're going to get through certain situations. Money particularly is going to become a focus through this month as well, and I feel like there's a lot of heaviness around that, and concerns around money, not having enough, feeling like we don't have enough, and even potential like struggles in that sense. But I think ultimately it's really all about our perception, and again, deciding how we manage our money. Like if we're taking silly risks and spending it where maybe we don't need to, then obviously we're more likely to be in a situation where we'll find it more difficult to manage. But it's interesting that balance was the first card, one of the first cards that came out as well, because it's also, this is really highlighted in terms of finances and money. It's about sort of being able to balance the receiving with the giving as well, not just thinking about what we need to draw in, but like what can we give, what else can you put out into the world that you want to see reflected back to you. And especially in terms of money and material possessions, it's like, how attached are we to those narratives that we need a certain amount to do X, Y, and Z? and also where are we compromising ourselves for the sake of money or financial wealth. Because this is the other thing, like, about finding our inner peace. Like, especially in the working world, there's so much like emphasis on doing whatever gets the most money and stuff like that, but often that means compromising your true values, your true needs. And this is likely the things that are going to be shifting, because we're being pulled into greater alignment all the time to where we're supposed to be. And I think resisting any changes that come up is going to be where we find more struggles. And it's really about shifting our perspective in terms of how we view abundance. Again, this is a theme that's been running for like the previous few months as well. And it's almost like, have we really integrated those lessons? Are we aware of what abundance looks like to us and how attached we are to material wealth in that way? Because if we can't find the abundance that's around us, then when changes and shifts do happen that maybe affect us financially, then that is when we will feel stressed and will feel like we have this loss of control of things that are going on in our lives. But if we can flow with it and trust and know that like everything is about balance, like when things don't seem so good, like the wheel always turns and things change and get better. And anything that does end or is removed from our lives or does change suddenly, it's always because it's being moved out of our way. So if we're able to take a step back and reflect on a situation instead of thinking on instance like, oh my God, why is this happening? We're more able to see the lesson in it and see why maybe it needed to happen the way it did. Because I get this strong sense that this Virgo season is really about us reflecting on these attachments just definitely in terms of the material world. I feel like there's like an ongoing lesson with this, and we need to kind of, it's a very spiritual lesson as well, because I think when we perceive the abundance in that way and the magic and stuff that's around us, then we're less attached to these things. And that's kind of a lesson that we're being drawn through. So we might find that things are removed from our life, especially things that are related to material things and money, as I said. But it's really, it's about shifting our perspective and not just focusing on the money and how much we need or how much we don't have, but just checking in with ourselves that are we working towards something and on something that actually sits right with us and resonates with us, or are we working hard and not actually feeling happy or at peace within ourselves? We really need to find a balanced view that is a balance between the head and the heart, because we can't make grounded decisions when we're in a state of like worry or fear. And this is, I feel, some like the kind of energy that may arise with the changes that take place. But I mean, like we are going to come out the other side and be much stronger for it. So whatever happens, like just try to roll with it and know that on the other side of those changes is a lot of success and a lot of things happening exactly as they're meant to. But you have to be able to trust that. And again, the Five of Swords comes up, and I said about change, and this is what the fives always represent for me. And it's like this shift from some things that have happened in the past, like even our ways of seeing things, perceiving things, beliefs that we hold, and actually being able to let them go so that we can embrace new ideals about how we want to live our life. So there's a lot of battles that are going to be overcome. And balance, again, the Lovers comes up, and this is like just really honing in on that message that this is really about balance, like in all ways. In what ways are you restricting yourselves? How can you open yourself up more and create more freedom for yourself within yourself? How much Are you in balance, like in terms of your masculine energy and your feminine energy? Are you tapping into both of those to be in a state where you're centered and grounded? We may find that this is also reflected within our relationships as well, because balance, it really does come up in that side of things too. And I think that's just about making sure like we're speaking our truth and sharing what we need to, and opening up conversations that need to be spoken about. And obviously we have Mercury going retrograde in a couple of weeks, so this is all part and parcel of that as well. Like, this is going to be a heavy focus. We need to step up and express what we need to, be true to ourselves, and as long as we do that, like, we'll get through this unaffected by the heaviness that it could seem like. I think, yeah, the communication side of things is really important, and knowing where the limitations that we feel are actually what we have created for ourselves. A lot of lessons through this time. So I feel this energy of being drawn sort of inwards and retracting from the outside world a little bit, and I feel like that is something that we may need to embrace so that we can sort of process things that come up, the changes that happen, the shifts that take place. But following all this, there is a new beginning that will come in, but it's how we move through these lessons is going to affect how that shows up for us. And if we can see the abundance that surrounds us and find our gratitude for where we're at right now and acceptance for where we're at right now, then we're going to flow more easily, flow through the changes and shifts that happen, and be able to be more open to the new opportunities that are going to present themselves later on. Yeah, I feel like there's, around work, this is a big focus as well, which kind of makes sense with Virgo and this energy of like having to organize things. And I feel like for some people that's looks like reflecting on your job or the work that you're doing, and saying, is this right for me anymore? Do I need a change? Do I need a break? And actually, I feel like it's really important, because the 9 of Cups comes up as well, and it's like, think about what you actually really want to manifest, what experiences you really want to draw in. I feel like this new moon coming up is going to be so important for setting intentions on these kinds of things, and especially in terms of, like I say, your work, your calling, whatever it is. We need to get really clear on that and put those intentions out, without blocking ourselves because of what we think other people will think of us, what external factors are going on. Just literally following our heart to where we're called to. There's a lot of, I think maybe with Mercury retrograde, this could be what this is about, but there's like this energy of also kind of reflecting back into the past quite far, and maybe memories that you have of like good situations or relationships that maybe there are aspects of that you crave or miss, and this does tend to happen with Mercury retrograde, so this could well be what this is about. But I think it's about bringing ourselves back to the present and not losing ourselves in the circumstances that have happened in the past. We have to write a new script now and decide how we want the future to look that is not rooted in our past experiences. The more we're attached to them, the more likely we're going to relive or invite new experiences that just mirror what we've already experienced. So it's really, like I say, this whole idea of peace and harmony. Like, what is it that brings you peace? Are you even at peace right now? And what are you, if you're not, what are you doing to get there? What can you actually change? Like, because yes, the Tower is about changes that, you know, happen out of your control and happen suddenly and all of that. But it's also about us making decisions. If there is big changes that need to happen or big shifts that need to happen in our lives, we need to take action as well. And I think that's a strong call that we're going to have throughout this month. So yeah, a lot of reflection and considering. I think it's about being accountable as well. Like, we have to be honest with ourselves about the attachments that we do have, and not fool ourselves. If there is, the more awareness we have for what those are and what we need to break away from and what we need to grow from, the more able we are to actually do that. If we just try to convince ourselves that we're okay and everything's fine, but our soul is not happy, our soul is not at peace, then we're just going to keep being stuck and we're just not going to be able to find that sense of joy and that balance that we really need. So yeah, I feel like I know now why I felt like coming on to do a reading, because I haven't done this for a while, but seeing what's coming up is, it's quite intense. So as always, more lessons to come, but I'm gonna jump on one day at the end of this week. I don't know which day yet, maybe Friday, because I'm gonna do a little moon meeting and go into more of this then regarding what this new moon is bringing up and how to work with it. Otherwise I'm gonna stop there, otherwise I'm gonna keep going on forever. But I hope that's helpful, and like I say, we will set some intentions with the new moon. I feel like it's very crucial. Even if you don't join me, please take some time to thank you. Please take some time to reflect and create your goals for the months ahead. It's really important that we're super organised at the moment and not just floating along. And yeah, thanks for the comment. Love my little Adidas. Alright guys, I'm going to go now. I hope you have a good evening, and hopefully I'll see you at the moon meeting and I'll update you as to when that is going to be. Take care.